Hello, everybody. Welcome to Game Informer's cover reveal stream. Thanks for coming and hanging out. We'll be revealing the cover in about 10 minutes here. I'm Kyle Hilliard. Alex Van Aken is here. What's up, Alex?
Hey, thanks for having me. Hello, everyone.
And Brian Shea is
Hello.
also here.
Good morning, everybody. We are happy to be here. We're happy to chat about our next issue, and think it's a good one.
Yeah, I'm excited for this one. This one's extra fun to me because our standalone subscription service, I guess you could call it, is available now. Subscription.gameinformer.com to subscribe to the magazine. We're gonna plug that until you're annoyed with us. I'm sorry. That's just our life now, and I apologize. But if you subscribed recently, if you subscribe today, I believe if you subscribe even in the next few days, the cover that we are going to reveal in 9 minutes is the issue that you will get. That will be your first issue, and it's a good first issue to get. I suggest you look forward to it.
That is correct, Kyle. On the subscription front, yeah, like if you subscribe today after we reveal this, you see the cover and you're like, oh, I really want that issue. You subscribe today, you will get that issue in your mailbox as your first issue of your subscription.
Yeah. But how's it going, guys? We still got a couple minutes. We're just here hanging out, getting things ready. We don't like to tease things before we reveal them, but I do usually at least share who wrote the cover story, which was Brian Shea this time.
I did write the cover story.
And we're so
Alex
proud
was
of you.
along for the ride. Alex also went on this trip trip with me to the studio.
Yeah, I got to see, Brian in his element once more.
Once more with
I haven't seen it
right.
enough. Yeah.
We've gone to Tokyo a couple of times, and Osaka once. This was
Yep.
not a Japanese trip. I'll tease that. This was not us going to Japan.
Yes.
But you've seen me in my element plenty. What are you talking about? We've been travel buddies plenty of times.
I'm just joshing you.
You guys went to
See, here's the
Nintendo.
scoop, everybody.
You guys went to Nintendo World together or whatever.
We did.
Do people want to hear the scoop? Here's what's actually happening right now.
Oh, boy.
Is I'm editing a video for the cover reveal as we speak for production. So,
Oh, boy.
it's looking good though. Too bad I couldn't share my screen.
It's funny. I was recording a new gameplay today that will premiere tomorrow that I can't share yet with Marcus. That was like a little bit of like let's get this done before we go live. So we're all rushing this morning, but it's good. It's all good.
Yeah. And I had to hastily throw on this suit because I had a customer service call right before this stream.
Oh no.
Yeah, we're always in a rush here at Game Informer.
Yes. Just running around.
Fix my
But
headphones. Yeah.
Alex had a heck of a time with this trip.
I did.
Oh right, I forgot about that. Oh my god.
We arrived at our destination, and Alex informs me that his bag is no more. His bag is just lost to the ages. Probably never going to see it again. Thankfully, he did see it again, but not until he flew back. So,
Oh god. I lost it the entire trip. It was awful. It was awful. I wore the same outfit for 5 days in a row.
Yeah, because it was one of those situations where like we flew out around the same time. I got there a little bit before you, and then you were going to fly back and then head straight to Boston for PAX East.
Yeah.
I was going back to Minneapolis to write the cover story. And Alex arrives and he's just like, they lost my bags.
I'm just
Like,
dejected.
no. Well, hopefully it'll arrive today. And it didn't arrive. And to the point that you were just like, please just reroute my bags to Boston.
Yeah, I should see if I got compensation for that. I applied for it, but I don't think I've gotten it yet.
You
It
should have.
Yeah, I mean, I would imagine you must be owed compensation.
Yeah,
but-
because like if I wasn't there on a work trip, like my vacation would have been ruined,
yeah.
But instead, your
Um,
work trip got ruined, which is like that's
Exactly.
cool. The airplanes are good with that. That's fine.
Yeah.
So Kyle, how's
Yeah.
it going for you? How have you been?
Good. Busy. This issue, I'm on quite a lot of pages. I didn't write the cover story, which I think is 12. Is it 12 pages this time?
It's a 12-page, in-depth feature about one of the more anticipated games of 2024.
Yeah, that's a subtle way to put it, but yeah, I think we've all been extra busy. Launching the subscription was a big busy deal for us, and then we were also trying to get the issue completed during that time, and but yeah, no, I'm good. I'm waiting for a review game that I'm excited to start. Yeah, I got some stuff tomorrow. It's funny. I have 2 embargoed things for tomorrow that I wish I could talk about here, but I can't. And I'm sorry. I know that's annoying. I always hate it when I'm listening to like a podcast or something, and they're like, "I've been doing secret things," and I'm like, "Well, that doesn't help me now." Listening to the podcast.
So Kyle, you say that you're on a lot of pages. I just counted up how many pages I have in this issue.
Oh, I'm sure you beat me. Yeah.
28.
Oh my god. Jeez. Well, I hope you like Brian's writing because he's on
And
a
if
lot
not,
of
and you
pages.
recently subscribed to Game Informer, I'm sorry that your first issue is
The
a
Brian
quarter
issue.
of my writing.
That's the cover that we can share. by the
Awful
way.
day for Brian's enemies.
It's just it's one of Brian's selfies is the cover, the Brian issue we're calling it.
My picture is in the issue.
Is
I will
it?
say that. Yeah, because we have GI Spy, and
Of course.
I believe the picture that I used was when I met Pete Wentz at a Topspin event.
Oh right, yeah. And you remember you messaged us and you're like, Pete Wentz is here. He's from a band, right?
Fall
He's
Out
from
Boy.
Fall Out. Okay, you're right. I couldn't remember the band, and I remember I Googled him and because I didn't know him at sight, And I was
Yeah.
like, what? Fall Out Boy. All right, weird.
It was very random. I mean, to be fair, it was a celebrity tennis tournament that was taking place, and
Right.
also Pete Wentz, I think, curates the soundtrack for Topspin. They're doing the kind of thing they've been doing with NBA for a while, where it's like, we'll have a random celebrity who's into music curate our soundtrack, and
Hey,
turns out Pete Wentz is a huge tennis fan as well.
good gig if you can get it. If you're a celebrity and you like music.
Hi, Carson123 ABC TV.
Hello.
Welcome
Hello.
welcome to the chat. First timer. Yeah, we
Yep.
have about less than 3 minutes
Less than
now
3
before
minutes.
we are able to reveal the newest cover of Game Informer.
Let me
And
pull
it's
up.
exciting for me
Yeah.
because I'm looking at my wall o covers that I have like around here,
This one's gonna look nice.
and I see 3 rows of 3 and an empty spot, meaning that this will be my 10th cover story, which is wild because prior to 2019 I had 0.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah, my first cover story was Pokemon Sword and Shield,
Uh-huh.
then Immortals Phoenix Rising, then Saints Row, then Callisto Protocol. So a bit of a cold streak there. Then we got Sonic Frontiers, Street Fighter 6, Sonic Superstars, Mario Wonder, and Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. So as cold as that one
collection.
streak was, we're on a hot streak now with my cover story. So
Yeah. My time is weird because I was here 2011 to 2019, and then I came back. But in that time, I've actually only written 2. I wrote Zelda and Sea of Stars. That's all I've written so far. Isn't that weird?
what?
Yeah.
So wait, Zelda was your first cover story?
Zelda was my first cover
I
story.
do remember that now.
I went on plenty of cover story trips, but that
Mhm.
was the first one that I wrestled the controller away from anybody who wanted. I truly, when I went hands-on with that game, I didn't let anyone else play, probably rudely in retrospect. It's like, no, I'm gonna play for this 3 hours chunk here.
Meanwhile, Alex is fighting a train, apparently.
Yeah, what's going? You okay?
Yeah, I'm
over there?
sorry. I'm doxing myself. I live near a train track.
I live near a train track. Not like a train, just a train track. We don't know if trains actually run on it.
What was the first cover trip you ever went on, Kyle? Because mine was Shadow of War.
I think mine was the Tomb Raider sequel. I think.
Rise of the Tomb
Rise of
Raider.
the Tomb Raider. I think I'd have to.
That was
I'd have
right
to think
before I
about it.
joined GI.
Yeah.
That was I think the cover before I joined Game Informer. Maybe it was either Uncharted 4.
Hey Brian,
or...
I gotta cut you off.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
time.
go,
It's
go.
11.
Ooh.
I didn't even count it down. You guys ready? Cover
do it.
reveal time. Boom. Star Wars Outlaws. Look at that cover. I freaking love this cover. I'm a big fan. I don't know if I guess I would call them the casual Game Informer covers, which is a weird way to put it, but I like what's the protagonist's name, Brian? You know her very well at this
Kay
point.
Vess.
Kay Vess is just kind of chilling in a bar, checking her phone, basically. And it
Hey,
like
she's accepting a job.
that's right. She's updating her LinkedIn. But I love the like
Not a phone in sight.
I love that sort of passive chill covers. Like this is just a scene from Star Wars Outlaws, and I think it looks awesome. But Brian and Alex, please tell us all about where you went and what you saw and all that fun stuff.
Yeah, we went to Malmo, Sweden.
Yeah, we went to Massive.
Yeah, we went to
This
Massive
is my second
Entertainment.
time there.
Yeah, because you were there for Avatar: Frontiers of Pandora.
I was there
with
in
Marcus.
I was there in what, November, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, because that was the December cover, or was it? No, that was the January cover. So you were there in December.
I was
I
there
don't
recently. Yeah. I listen. I've got the bathrooms mapped out at that building. All right.
know. Yeah, so do
I
I.
know where the coffee stand is. It's all. I got it all.
Yeah, it's a very, very nice studio. It's a relatively new studio space, and yeah, we spent a day and a half in the studio. The first day was like talking with them and like learning all about like what this game is. Then we got to watch a hands-off demo, and then we got to play the game for what, about an hour, a little bit more than an hour.
I think it was like 90 minutes, if I remember.
Okay. And so that was how we ended our day. Then we came back the next day and just shot a bunch of interviews and just really dove deep into the gameplay, what we played, the characters, the design, the world, and the very cool reputation system, which tracks what your standing is with the various crime syndicates that you are interacting with. So we will have a ton of information on all that stuff. Really starting today once the issue launches, but also some cool stuff on our coverage hub, which is gameinformer.com/Star Wars Outlaws. So that stuff will start populating and really run through like the next 2 weeks, I would say.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Nice. And video features from you, Alex, I'm sure, in the pipeline.
Yeah. We're gonna have. We've got a one-on-one interview with Brian and the creative director. That's gonna be our first video going up. We've got a couple other interviews with like more group interviews that I'm going to kind of splice together into probably a larger video. And then Brian and I are going to try to sit down and put our thoughts down on, not on paper, but on video about playing the game. And yeah, a lot of thoughts about it, but it's definitely a game to be excited about.
Nice.
I really enjoyed it playing it. I think we're definitely going to get into it, I will say, on the Game Informer show this week. So keep an eye out on the Game Informer Show podcast feed, available Spotify, Apple Podcasts, everywhere you get podcasts. That episode will be going up Thursday morning, Thursday afternoon. We got a couple embargoes we got to make sure we're clear of, but yeah, we'll be diving into our thoughts on all things Star Wars Outlaws.
Hell yeah.
And I want to echo your sentiment that I had a great time playing it as well, and it really was like that kind of demo where I was like, okay, I'm starting to understand all the systems. And then by the end of it, I was like, all right, I really want to just like dive into the final product and like see how much I can really manipulate like the reputation with the different criminal organizations. And then like there's also a separate system for like dealing with the Empire, because it takes place between The Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. So it's like a really cool time in the Star Wars galaxy to kind of have as a playground. So I'm really looking forward to that and seeing where this game really goes in terms of both story, but also like expanding out in the gameplay that we got to experience.
Yeah.
Nice.
I had a great time, apart from losing my bags, but it was great visiting Massive again.
Which, to be clear, the developer, Star Wars Outlaws, didn't have anything to do with you losing your bags, as far as we know.
That we know of.
They did.
This is the team that largely worked on The Division. So they wanted to do like a story that was less focused on like, oh, this is a trained soldier going through this world, and more about the term they used is resourceful underdog. And they wanted to tell a story like that. And like really what they were aiming for was kind of like, again, the term they used, like kind of the ultimate scoundrel experience.
Yeah.
And, the archetype that they went with was scoundrel, as opposed to like something like Jedi, spy, operative, stuff like that, which are other archetypes from the Star Wars tabletop RPG. And, the kind of the archetypal scoundrel in the Star Wars universe is Han Solo. And So you can already guess that you're not going to run into at least not a conscious Han Solo, given that it takes place between Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. But it is kind of cool to see like another character in a similar type of role. And I really enjoyed the character as well, so I'm looking forward to that too.
Yeah. Plug a couple other things in the issue before we wrap up here. Like I said, 12 pages on Star Wars Outlaws from Brian Shea. You did some interviews about upcoming stuff for Street Fighter 6, Brian. What are the other Brian features that we got here on this 28 pages?
Well, part of that interview with Street Fighter 6, talked to both the director and producer, which were the two main spokespeople when we did our cover story on Street Fighter 6. Was just kind of talking about like their post-launch plans and how that's going, and like the differences between the launch of Street Fighter 6, which was very well received, and the launch of Street Fighter 5, which not so much. So
guess which one they're more proud of.
But also some cool little tidbits about just kind of like how World Tour came to be, and like why one character and one kind of random social media interaction was responsible for the World Tour mode. So that is in there. I also, as part of that, was attending Capcom Cup, which was gave out $1 million to the winner. So have a kind of a quick little feature discussing that. We did our kind of like game gauntlet, which was the 64 game tournament that we had on our website. We just kind of have like a bigger feature on that, talking about like the process of that. And then I got several previews like Dune Awakening, Top Spin 2K25, Unknown 9 Awakening, so another game with Awakening in the title, which is very strange. And then the cover story is obviously the anchor for it, and then we've got several other big cool features in this book that are not written by me.
Yeah, we can plug a couple of those. Wes LeBlanc has a fantastic, 8-page feature on AI in video games and what that means and who's using it and why they're using it. I think that's a fascinating feature that is also sometimes infuriating in a way. I just don't know what to think about AI moving forward here. I did a big piece on a retrospective on Sea of Thieves, spoke to the team over at Rare about the legacy of that game and bringing it to PlayStation 5, which was a fun piece. Marcus has a huge piece on Sandland, the upcoming Akira Toriyama game, where he got to see some exclusive elements of that game. And then I also put together a a retrospective, but just a tribute to Akira Toriyama, a couple pages in there of like what he meant to video games and you know his legacy and that kind of thing. I spoke to the developers of Kingmakers, that crazy game where you're time traveling and you end up in the past, and you're like a dude with a car and a gun in medieval times. And I really like that piece because the big surprise about it for me was that game is actually, they're striving for historical accuracy in a way that you wouldn't expect. And then like they totally convinced me. It's a fun piece. And then we have a profile on Finji, the developer publisher behind a number of great games.
Tunic,
right?
Probably most notably.
From Freelancer, Zachary Avery. So yeah, that issue will be hitting mailboxes soon. If you want to get a copy of it, you can subscribe now. And like we said, subscription.gameinformer.com. If you subscribe, this is the first issue you will get. You will get the Star Wars Outlaws issue, which is a really kick-ass first issue.
And you do still have a little bit of time here. If you subscribe today or within, I think, the next couple to a few days, this will be the first issue. But much further beyond that, it might be the next issue that hits. So if you really want this issue, I would activate that subscription sooner rather than later. And again, it equates out to like less than $2 an issue, whereas if you buy them individually, I think they're $8 an issue on the GameStop website.
So you can do that too if you want. If you just want the Star Wars one, it'll be up there in the coming days. And then the digital issue will be available in a couple hours if you really if you just can't wait. But thanks everybody for tuning in. And yeah, we're really excited about this issue. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye, everybody.